The mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. Legends, theories, and truth. Hello, friends. You must have heard people saying that either sky ate it or the ground swallowed it. But there is a place on Earth where people have claimed that this actually happens. This place is in the west region of the North Atlantic Ocean. It's between USA's state Florida to Puerto Rico Island and Bermuda. The year 1945, on the 5th of December, at 2:10 in the afternoon, 5 torpedo bomber aircraft of the U.S. Navy took off from Florida. This mission was called Flight 19. It was a 3-hour-long routine training mission. It wasn't anything special. They were simply flying to conduct their regular training missions. There were 14 crew members on the flight, led by their flight leader, a highly experienced pilot and war veteran. These 5 planes flew east from Florida. Everything was normal. The weather was clear. But about 2 hours after the takeoff, their squadron leader reported that there were sudden problems in their compass. Their compass stopped working. They take out their backup compass. But the backup compass failed too. They can't determine their actual position. They asked the pilots of the other planes, but their instruments were malfunctioning too. Lt. Charles Carroll Taylor was the squadron leader after the compass broke down. Utterly confusing messages were sent over radio transmission.
My compasses are out and I'm trying to find Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm over land but it's broken. I'm sure I'm in the Keys but I don't know how far down. And I don't know how to get to Fort Lauderdale.
The weather starts worsening at 4:56 in the evening. Taylor believes that their planes were flying over the Gulf of Mexico and that they needed to fly east to get back to Florida. So he commanded the rest of the planes to fly east. But some of the crew aboard the flight believed that they were already flying east of Florida and that they needed to fly westwards. Right after this order, one of those planes sent a radio transmission saying,
Damn it, if we could just fly west, we would get home. Head west, damn it.
But the weather continues to worsen. It's soon sunset and then the darkness of night. At this point, it is believed that the planes were actually 370 kilometers east of Florida. At 7:04 p.m., we get the last radio transmission from Taylor.
Planes close up tight. We'll have to ditch unless landfall. We all go down together.
After this, all 5 planes are lost forever. Till date, we have no clue about these planes. Where are they? What happened to them after the disappearance of Flight 19? A search and rescue Mariner aircraft took off with a crew of 13 people. They were on the mission to find Flight 19. But while looking for them, they did disappear. First, 14 people of Flight 19 disappeared. And then 13 people of the Mariner search and rescue aircraft. For days after this, a large-scale air and sea search operation was carried out, one of the largest search operations of the time, to look for both of these flights, but they could find nothing. Neither do they find a body of any person, nor any part of the aircraft. Everything had disappeared, interestingly. The area where both planes disappeared. Today, we know that area as the Bermuda Triangle. We don't know which way is west.
Over the past 50 years, 3,000 ships and 100 planes have gone missing in a mysterious stretch of water in the Atlantic Ocean.
Ships have gone missing, planes have gone missing.
Known as the Devil's Triangle.
A source of intrigue, legend, and fear. This is the Bermuda Triangle.
Where's the Bermuda Triangle? The Bermuda Triangle is a mysterious region in the western North Atlantic Ocean, roughly bounded by Miami, Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. It covers about 500,000 square miles and is infamous for unexplained disappearances of ships and aircraft. Over the years, many theories have emerged, including paranormal activity, magnetic anomalies, rogue waves, and methane gas eruptions. But no single explanation is universally accepted. Despite the myths, the U.S. government and scientific bodies do not recognize it as a hazardous area. Many vessels and planes safely travel through it daily, making the mystery more about speculation than solid evidence. USS Cyclops mystery. Talking about some other incidents. There was another horrifying incident in the year 1918. It involved the USS Cyclops, one of the biggest and fastest ships of the U.S. Navy at the time. It was a very important asset for the American Navy, especially when America began taking part in World War I. It was used to transport the troops and coal. On the 4th of March 1918, 306 people were aboard the USS Cyclops from a city near Washington called the West Indies, Baltimore. This ship began its journey towards Brazil. Other than people, the ship was carrying 11,000 tons of manganese. The journey was supposed to take 9 days. Everything was fine with the departure of the ship. The weather was clear. While departing, the ship sent the message, but this message was the last message from this ship. After the ship began its journey, there was no news from it. It had disappeared suddenly. This shocked everyone. One of the biggest ships of the U.S. Navy. A ship this huge, how could it disappear suddenly? Mystery of Ellen Austin. In 1888, there was a ship named Ellen Austin. It was traveling from England to New York. After traveling for 2 to 3 days, the captain of this ship, Captain Griffin, takes an unplanned shortcut to arrive early. And this shortcut was going through the Bermuda Triangle. However, as soon as the Bermuda Triangle area arrives, Captain Griffin sees a small boat at a distance, which was moving from here to there in an odd pattern. Captain tried to communicate several times, but there was no response from the boat. Initially, these people were scared. After some time, the captain sent some people in that boat to check why there is no response from the boat. But after reaching that boat, everyone was shocked. The whole boat was empty. There was no one on it. No captain, no crew, no passenger. Everything was safe. There was no damage to the boat. After that, they decide to take the boat with them to New York and will inform the authority so that any illegal activity can be tracked. When they were taking the boat with them towards New York, there was a severe storm, and the boat disappeared. As soon as the storm calms down, the boat reappears. But everyone was shocked to see the boat, because all the people who were taking that boat to New York were missing, and nothing happened to the boat. After this, they left the boat there and left for New York. The following day, the story spreads throughout the world. There are theories, as has been done for ages. They take this into account. But there are some areas on the Earth, if you use a compass in these areas, you would find the magnetic and geographic North Poles at the same place. The places where this happens are known as the agonic lines. These agonic lines shift with time. But for the last 200 to 300 years, the zero line has been around or in the area of the Bermuda Triangle. This can basically create confusion. The next strange thing about this area is that the area in the Bermuda Triangle, scientific explanations, is quite shallow. When you look at it on a satellite map, you'd see that the Bahamas, Caribbean islands. They're surrounded by turquoise color all around. This area in the ocean stretches across a long distance. With shallow waters, you can see the deep ocean around it is represented in dark blue color. And this area stands out when looked at through a satellite. Because of this, it is said that, in the olden days when the ships came to this area, got stuck here due to shallow waters. Hidden shoals were the points where the land beneath the ocean was quite high, but it was not visible from the ships. When the ships were atop the area, they would get stuck there. The third peculiarity. This area has one of the highest rates of hurricanes in the world. If you rank the countries where most of the hurricanes are seen, China is at number 1. Then the USA at number 2, followed by Cuba. Cuba lies in this area. And which state gets the most hurricanes in the USA? Florida. It lies in this area. This area gets hurricanes and water sprouts more frequently. Methane hydrates is the fourth explanation. There are some areas in the ocean that have large fields of methane hydrates. In Australia, scientists had conducted laboratory experiments in which they had found that when there's an exceeding amount of methane bubbles in the water, the density of the water gets lower and the buoyancy of a ship cannot be maintained. And so the ship drowns. The same thing is happening here, in reverse. If there is methane in the water, it is hypothesized. If there are methane eruptions in the water, they are also known as mud volcanoes. When volcanoes erupt underwater, methane is released. And if it happens when a ship is over the area, then the ship would instantly sink into the water, without any warnings, never to be heard from again. This is an interesting explanation. But in all the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle, there was no direct evidence that any exact incident was due to methane hydrates. This is simply a scientifically proven thing that exists. But to have actually caused the disappearance of any ship has not been proven yet. The fifth explanation is the most important, in my opinion, because this is related to human psychology. This is known as the Baader-Meinhof effect, or the frequency illusion. The Baader-Meinhof effect, or the frequency illusion, is a psychological effect. It states that when we start to notice things more, then we start finding them more often around us. Remember when someone in your family bought a new car? The model of the car you got, after buying it, you would have noticed that over the next few days or even months, whenever you were on the road, you started noticing the model of the car you bought more and more. You would notice the same model on the road. You may also feel like more people bought the model after you bought it. In reality, the frequency of the car on the road didn't change much. It was just as common after you bought it as it was before. But because you bought the car, you started noticing it more. The same thing is said about the Bermuda Triangle. Though it is true that some big aircraft and vessels disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle, but if you've noticed, in many areas around the world across all oceans, there have been such disappearances of aircraft and ships, areas other than the Bermuda Triangle. One of the recent examples of this is the Malaysian Airlines flight. It hadn't disappeared around the Bermuda Triangle. The thing is that when people came across the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle, people started paying more attention to the disappearances and incidents there. The incidents taking place around the Bermuda Triangle, and the similar incidents that took place outside the Bermuda Triangle. People didn't pay much attention to them. Journalist Larry Kush, the author of the book The Bermuda Triangle Mystery Solved, reached this solution too. He wrote that though there were some incidents that took place initially, but when with time, when the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle gained prominence. Some people started creating their stories. There was mystery mongering. And some stories were totally absurd and hadn't really happened. The story of Alan Austin that I told you is said to be one such fabrication. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration of the U.S. state that there's no evidence that the aircraft and ships that disappear in the Bermuda Triangle, the mysterious disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle that we see, no evidence that they occur more frequently in the Bermuda Triangle than compared to any other area of the ocean. It is not so. We see similar mysterious disappearances in the other areas of the oceans as well. The United States Coast Guards have even said that. It shows that the Coast Guard of the USA don't even recognize the Bermuda Triangle is a hazardous area. They said that the fact that the area within the Bermuda Triangle is heavily trafficked could account for some of the mystery. The area of the Bermuda Triangle sees a lot of traffic of ships and airplanes. That's why the chances of such incidents happening here increase. Pair that with the fact that the Bermuda Triangle is often swept by hurricanes and the presence of the Gulf Stream. It is not hard to see why ships might occasionally sink there. If you bear in mind that this area sees a lot of hurricanes and the water is shallow here, you arrive at the straightforward answer to the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. But despite the frequent hurricanes, when WWF had conducted their detailed study in 2013 for the world's 10 most dangerous bodies of water for shipping, in the top 10 most dangerous waters, the Bermuda Triangle area was not on the list. Simply speaking, the mysterious disappearances have nothing to do with the Bermuda Triangle. You might ask now, what was the ball of fire that Christopher Columbus had seen fall into the ocean? There's a simple and scientific answer to it too. Conclusion: scientists believe that it was actually a meteor seen by Christopher Columbus.